Information. If it exists in writing, we print it. If it exists online, we update it. If it exists on mobile, we notify. If it exists in video, we show it. If it exists in audio, we play it. In the past, the news had to wait for a paper to print for it to happen. Today, news happens in real time. It's analyzed, edited, and published immediately by us, your neighbors, and of course, you. Wherever you are, you write, edit, give opinions, share photos, and make the news happen. This is why a paper needs to be on print, on screen, and on your phone. Wherever you are, your news has its pulse in the community. The Boca Raton Tribune. We are much more than just a newspaper. We are your closest neighbor.
And welcome to another episode of the Boca Tribune special, Tribune 360, where we're going to talk to about the election coming up on March 9th. Today, I have the pleasure of having Monica Mayotte with me today. Monica, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me today, Pedro. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out and really appreciate it. I know you're probably super busy, but really appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to us.
It's my pleasure.
So let's just start off. For those that don't know you, maybe there's some new people out there. Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself. How long you've been in Boca, when you started, how long you've been in city council, and things like that.
Sure, no problem. So my name is Monica Mayotte. I am your incumbent for seat D on the Boca Raton City Council. I am just finishing my first term on council. I was first elected in March of 2018, and back then I didn't think that I thought that the city was kind of moving not so much in the right direction, and so I wanted to get on council to help guide Boca into a better direction. Mm-hmm. And I feel I've done that in my first 3 years. I'm always been the voice of the resident. I take the residents' opinions they're very important to me, and I take them very seriously. And I will continue to do that in my second term. But I'm making sure that the city will be working towards sustainability and resilience in everything that we do. It's important to me, and I think to a lot of our residents here in Boca Raton. And I'm hoping that I can continue to do that, along with championing smart redevelopment and development across our city. I want to see beautiful, exceptional designs for things coming into the future. And I'm hoping I can continue to do this work because I love it so much.
Yeah. So you came on in 2018 to seat D. What made you decide to run for re-election and for that seat?
I just feel like my work isn't done. I think we're making great progress, and we're the five of us on the dais right now. I think we work really well together. We're on a roll. We've done some great things like the Bright Line and just many other things that are coming to fruition here in town that are so exciting. And we have the five of us up there right now are really, I think, a great example of how government should be working on all levels. We are of all political persuasions up there. Republicans, Democrats, and independents, and we listen to one another. We respect one another's opinions. We learn from one another, and I think that's kind of it's missing in a lot of places, and I think we are an example of how it should be done.
Yeah, so in these last 3 years, what are some of the things that you're most proud of that you've accomplished up there?
So, like I already mentioned, the Bright Line. I think the Bright Line is it's not my phrase. I'm pointing a phrase someone else uses, a game changer here in Boca, but it definitely is. Not only can people come into Boca to enjoy our city and our parks and everything, but we can also have people that live here in Boca go visit other areas of South Florida and even Orlando and Disney World soon. So I think it just broadens everyone's horizons in South Florida to be able to understand other areas of our region. And I think it'll be really helpful, and from an environmental standpoint, taking cars off of I-95 and these roads that can be, harrowing to try to drive on. I mean, I just drove to Miami a couple weekends ago in a huge downpour, and I was like, please just get me to where I'm going. If the Bright Line was there, I would have taken it. So, I think it'll be a great addition to our city.
Yeah, for sure. So let's just get a little bit more into the government side for a little bit, and then we'll jump right back into to you. Sure. Why would you say, for people that don't really care, right? Why is city government so important?
So most politics and most government, the most important ones are your local ones. We are the elected officials that you select to represent you in your hometown, in your neighborhood, in your city. So we are also the most accessible. I mean, I get emails from residents all the time, and I email them back or I call them. We're there to help you. I mean, whether it's as small as my garbage didn't get picked up today, you can call us and we'll help you. Or you're having an issue with a permit, call us. We'll help you get through the paperwork to get that done. So, we are the most accessible of all, as any elected official at any level.
Mm-hmm. So let's say you were reelected. Is there something that City Council is currently doing that you would, immediately either change or continue doing what you were doing?
Well, right now, our main focus is getting through this COVID-19 pandemic and getting our economy going again. That's been our focus for the past 11 months and will continue to be our focus until we get through this. And that was another reason why I think we should all stay together on council, because continuity is key to make sure messaging is the same, that everybody is on board with what the city is doing. And I totally support what the city is doing to get us through this. I know some of the decisions early on were not always popular, but it helped us get through this safely and keep everyone safe. We are working as hard as we can to make sure our local businesses can stay prosperous, and we need to stay focused on that until we're through this pandemic.
Yeah, talking about the pandemic, how do you feel the city the city as a whole has done during the COVID-19 pandemic? And what are some things that, you and City Council can assist with the city moving forward, maybe with vaccines places or bringing life kind of back to a sense of quote unquote normal?
Yeah. So the vaccines, we can advocate for as many people for our residents as much as we can. We don't have a whole lot of control over who gets them, where they're from, where they're going to be dispensed from. So, I mean, a lot of that is at the state level. But I know that we spend a lot of time talking to the state levels, or Department of Emergency Management, and what was Jared Moskowitz. I know he's just resigned, but, he's still there. But that's something that, we can always advocate for and keep talking about and keep advocating for, to make sure that we are well represented here and in Boca. So that's important to me. And what was the other part of your question? I forget.
How do you feel the city has done during the COVID-19 pandemic?
So I think they've done a great job. Like I said, the decisions early on to shut everything down sometimes weren't very popular, but I think they were the right thing to do at the time. We're all just figuring this out as we go, and we're trying to do the right thing. But I think it was the right thing to keep our community safe, and we will continue to do what's necessary following the CDC guidelines to make sure that we can keep our community safe, because the safer we keep our community, the easier it will be the more comfortable people will be in coming out and coming to our businesses and making them, just opening up our economy again. Yeah. We have to make sure people can do that safely.
Yeah, talking about people going out and people feeling safe. This question is, I feel like ever since the paper started 10 years ago, this question's always been asked. What are your thoughts on the parking and traffic issues in Boca? And what are some things that can be done, to make that better?
So parking, what we've done in the past year and a half or so is we've put, and this kind of is pertinent to our downtown. We've installed a lot of parking meters. I know, which doesn't make people very happy, but it's scientifically proven that parking meters make cars, make them more movable. So it actually opens up more spaces, because people won't park in a free space and keep their car there all day. Right. They'll have to either keep paying or move their car. And also what was happening was, before we had the parking meters, people who lived in apartments downtown or condos, even though they had a parking space in their garage, it was easier for them to park on the street because it was free. And because it was easier to get in and out of their building. They didn't have to drive, up the levels and everything. So once we put those parking meters in, it forced all of those people back into their own garages and freed up a lot of spaces for customers and visitors to the downtown to use.
And looking forward, what are some ways that maybe, aside from parking meters, that will assist with, the over quote unquote population of cars driving to and from the city?
Well, there's several projects that are kind of not in front of us right now, but are kind of in the near future that contain parking garages in their projects. So, maybe we can make that happen. We'll see. And, the Bright Line with some, I would love to see some circulators around town. We've tried that twice and it hasn't quite worked yet. We haven't figured out how to make that work, but I do know that once Bright Line is closer to going live, we will be addressing that issue again to make sure that we can get that last mile done for people that are coming to our city from other places using the train.
Yeah, that was definitely a question I was going to ask. So you just jumped right into it. It's perfect. That's good to know. Yeah, I was like wondering. Yeah, so we're going to get Bright Line. Is there going to be some kind of like trolley system to help them out? So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, there has to be. I know that the mall was thinking about one. Some of the hotels are thinking about some for their facilities. But we definitely need something because not everybody's going to be able to walk, whether it's to Meisner Park or to Royal Palm or that kind of thing. We need to have something.
Yeah, for sure. So, jumping a little bit into obviously still talking about the city, but now another area of the city that everyone kind of talks about, but sometimes ignores. What are your thoughts on the ever-growing population of FAU? Ever since, even I think I asked this question 3 years ago as well. It's still growing, believe it or not, right?
Right.
And how can the city, help these students remain in the city once they graduate? Because what we see is a lot of kids come here, graduate, they don't find anything here, and they leave.
Well, we are constantly looking to bringing in new progressive type businesses here to Boca. We've got the Boca Raton Innovation Campus that has amazing amenities for their corporate clients in there, and they're attracting lots of people from universities out of the FAU and things like that. We have a lot of opportunities to bring companies in here. We are aggressively marketing Boca Raton in places like San Francisco, Chicago, the Northeast. Because a lot of those cities, a lot of those companies that are in those really high, dense, tall skyscrapers have realized with the advent of Zoom and distance, work from home, that I don't necessarily have to be in New York City to do my job. I can live in Boca, go to the beach in the morning and work in the afternoon or whatever, and still get my work done. So we're trying to bring those companies here to be able to have offices that are much more wide open and you have much more space. So we're looking to do that. And then I'm sure that will attract more university students to stay here.
Yeah. So jumping into a little bit more about your campaign, what would you say are the 3 top issues that your campaign, that you have in your campaign?
Okay, so I've touched on one already, the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic recovery. I kind of put those together as one because they're very intertwined. The second one is public safety. Our police and firefighters put their lives in danger every single day, especially now with the COVID pandemic. And we have to do what we can to make sure that they can do their job safely and keep our community safe. And, I'm all for smart, sustainable redevelopment and development across our city. When I became CRA chair back in the fall, I put out in one of my reports, I kind of said, look, okay, this is what I want to see. I want to see beautiful, creative, sustainable. I want to see some LEED buildings. I want to see some really creative new things going on down here. I just attended the Gala Verde award ceremony, which provides awards for buildings that are respectful of the environment and are LEED certified. And these buildings, some of them were magnificent. They're not what we want to see here in Boca because some of them are on Miami Beach and they're out. But I have to give credit to Lynn University. Their student union won an award. It's a LEED certified building. It is beautiful. I've had the tour of it, and I would love to see more of that around town. It doesn't mean big buildings. It just means thoughtful, creative, innovative buildings.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, LEED buildings are the way to go in the future, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say are your strengths when it comes to city council, and how do they help everyone else in the council?
So I think I'm a good listener, and and I think we all are. But I think I take into consideration what we talk, our discussions on the dais, and I will participate and make decisions based on what I hear from my colleagues and from whoever's talking to us about whether it's a project or an initiative or whatever.
Mhm.
I sit on that dais with an open mind, and I take in all the information that I hear, and I make decisions based on that.
Yeah, that's great. What are your thoughts on the expanding of service boundaries of the city?
You mean like annexation?
Annexation, yes. Yes.
Okay. So annexation, we need to make sure if we ever decide to do something like that, that we have the infrastructure and resources to be able to handle that, meaning water infrastructure, police, fire stations, sanitation services. We need to make sure that it's all beneficial to the city and not just more expenses for the city.
Good. Okay, cool. We're almost done, but looking through, what is your vision for the city in the coming years?
My vision. I would love to make sure that we have a beautiful, safe, sustainable community that everybody can enjoy, whether it's you have a safe methods to get to the beach. You have beautiful parks. I can't wait for our wildflowers park to open. I think it's going to be fantastic. We have taken into consideration coastal flooding and started making the necessary changes to our infrastructure and helping residents and property owners to protect their properties. I just want it to be a great place that has character, that's lovely character that everybody is proud to say Boca Raton is my home.
Yeah. What would you say, completely jumping here, but what would you say, who would you say is your a political figure that you admire the most, and why?
Well, I think it's a woman, of course. She's not really a political figure, but she's married to a political figure. Does that count?
Sure, of course.
Okay, I'm going to say Michelle Obama.
That totally counts.
Okay, cool. I really love, I've actually seen her. I went to see her on tour for her book, Becoming, and I read the book. She, to me, is the epitome of authenticity. I feel like I could be her friend. And I think a lot of people feel that way because I relate to her. I relate to her as a mom, as a woman, as someone in the public eye. So I really admire her.
That's great. That's great. Monica, before we head out, do you have anything else you'd like to add for the viewers at home?
Well, all I can say is March 9th is election day. If you have your vote by mail ballot, please fill it out and mark my name. If not, election day, March 9th, please check your precinct and get out there and cast your vote. Your vote is your voice.
Yeah.
And as I tell my kids all the time.
Yeah, no, Monica, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to talk to us. We really appreciate when when everyone that's running for council comes on and talks to us to, inform our readers on what your plans are. It's very amazing that you were able to do that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. Have a great day.
Take care, Pedro.
Bye.
Bye-bye.